they limit you to hydration clause, rehydration clause, if they limit you to certain things, factors, um, if they threaten you that if you're announced announced bigger than your weight, they're going to charge you, $300,000. I mean, that plays on your mind, bro. It's ugly. It's ugly. So you gotta, you got a lot of conditions, and Ryan didn't like that, but Ryan did it for the people. So that was a good thing. And then he got injured in sparring because he was dropping down weight too much, too much. He got injured. They leaked it out. We had a mo at the gym. They leaked it out, and supposedly they paid for people to leak that information. We found that out afterwards. But in this sport, bro, it's just a brutal sport, and it's also a sneaky one. So
Well, speaking of
you
sneaky,
gotta be
right?
careful.
Well,
Yeah.
you're speaking of sneaky now that you're speaking upon sparring.
Yeah.
Elijah Flores, a guy that Devin Haney was sparring. It seems like you guys
Yeah.
scooped him up for some
Yeah.
sparring yourself.
Yeah.
Speak
I like
upon that.
Elijah, bro. I
He's a
like
good kid.
Elijah, bro.
I
I
like him.
like him, bro. I like his dad. I like Elijah. I really do, man. It just, hey, bro. I mean, he
What
signed an
was the thought
NDA.
process?
Wait. He signed an NDA, so he can't really say anything about anything. I hope he doesn't.
Nope, he hasn't.
But well, good, because he can get sued by that. We have lawyers. But
Yep. I
you know,
asked for an interview, and that's the first thing he said was, "Well, I can't talk about Ryan sparring."
yeah, yeah. But the only thing that I could say is that he's a good kid, like you said. He's a warrior. I like that. Um, but he's happy, bro. He's happy. I'm happy. I'm happy with him and Nigel, the other guy. And that's the one that got leaked out there by Ryan. But Ryan compensated him, by saying, "Hey, man, thank you. I don't, it just happened," and Ryan was just too excited to prove to people that, "Hey, man, I got a badass right too." But hey, bro, it's all good. We're good, bro. We're happy. I'm happy.
That's the most important thing. Now, speaking of that, um,
Yeah,
when we talk about as a father and watching your son, in the last few months, mental health is such a big thing in
yeah,
boxing.
yeah.
How as a father do you take it in? Have you seen any differences in your son in the past few months gearing up to this fight?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the whole world did, But again, a father just looks closely. He'll only react if it's life and threatening, life or death situation. I'll act on it. But if he's talking about something that he believes in, then so be it. I mean, that's who he is. I didn't like the other things that he did, but and I would tell him. But it could all be, because there's so much factors involved promoting the fight. um Maybe things he believes in that he wants to express, which I know for a fact are true out there. A lot of people don't like to talk about that, but Ryan does.
Why all of a sudden?
Well, he has Jesus in his heart, and when you have Jesus in your heart that much, there's a lot of correction that needs to be made out there. And Ryan feels that he has the platform to go ahead and address himself in that aspect, and let people know that what you're doing is wrong,
Do you as far as
especially when it comes to sex trafficking and
yeah.
hurting children and all that. I mean, that's bad, bro. And people, they pretend not to hear it, but it's there, and they do hear it, but they just they turn their eye. They turn around, and it's sad because I know if I saw something happening, bro, I'll be the first one to say, "Hey, man, what the hell you doing?" Or I'll call the cops. But it's wrong for people to do that to children. It is wrong, bro. I mean, I don't know if you have kids, but I know if they did to my kids, or when they were young, I fucking be an animal, bro.
Me too.
So you can't violate somebody like that. It's not right at
A
all.
hun- a
It's
hundred
evil.
percent.
It's evil.
100%.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you feel like, because of like that type of promotion, and people are starting to feel like, hey, Mills, make sure you ask Henry, hey, is Ryan okay? Is Ryan okay? You've mentioned in the comments he's okay. You guys are sparring today,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but as far as that is concerned, like, do you feel like because of these remarks that are being said at this point in time that the ticket sales for this fight aren't necessarily where they should be?
Mm. Well, I mean, again, people were confused as to Ryan's mental state. They were wondering, hey, man, is it going to be a fight? So when you're skeptical about a fight that's going to be that's basically around the corner, uh, you're going to wait for the final moment, and usually, in history, um, is always been that tickets generate like the last week, the final week, man. It's like, oh yeah, this fight is ready, man. They're both in New York, and that's when things just start picking up. I mean, tremendously, you
Yeah.
know. But people had their doubts, and but hey, Ryan passed all the tests today. He had a neurologic neurologically neurological test. There you go, neurological test, and he passed it. So it was great. I was with him just like an hour ago. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, as far as the fight stylistically, what type of fight do you think the fans are gonna be looking for?
Well, I mean, Ryan is Ryan. Ryan's gonna, box, just like he did Duarte. Devin's gonna fight like he did things. I mean, they're gonna feel each other out. It's gonna be interesting. But Ryan, I understand that he's an observer. He's an observer, just like Haney is. So it's gonna be a good fight. Again, you can run, but you can't hide.
Hmm.
And telling you this much. I just hope he can handle Ryan's power because at this point, I haven't seen anybody that can handle his punches. People might say, "Oh well, Tank did this." A lot of people go back to Tank. Who gives a shit, bro? Ryan was fucking thinner than a thin ice. He was had a broken rib. I mean, come on, they already knew this. I mean, I could have hit Ryan there and he would have felt some pain. It's like, and then he couldn't rehydrate. I mean, Fernando Vargas, the father, told me, hey, man, I would have never have accepted all those conditions that you did for your son. I said, well, it was just not me. It was the managers, it was the promoters, and it was Team Davis that wanted all these stipulations, and they got them in order to get the fight going. So
And you
but again, huh?
and you believe in a rematch at 140 pounds, it would be different.
Without stipulation.